Hello Internet, I'm Dan.
And I'm Chaz. This is the Wine is Serious Business Show, episode 94. Crazy. And we're here with a guest, very special guest, Ewald Moseler.
Yep.
Said that properly, correct?
That's perfect.
All right, yeah.
I'm very good at it.
Yeah. Someone who I widely respect is bringing in some really great German wines here into Portland, importing some really cool wines, and brought some Franken wine, which is stuff I have no experience with. So
you have seen the bottle, huh?
I have seen the bottle around, but yeah, I've never tasted them. So go ahead and introduce yourself and
Yeah. I mean, I thought I'd bring Frankenwine today. Even I come from the Mosel. As you know, my last name is Moseler, what means from the Mosel. And a lot of people ask me if I made it up, but this is my last name. So, and normally, I talk a lot about Mosel wine, but this time I thought I'd bring some Frankenwine. I visited the area just a year ago, and it's a beautiful area. The wines are pretty amazing, dry, and interesting varieties. So we have something different than Riesling today.
We do.
And so Riesling is also grown there, but
I do love my German Riesling, so I'm really excited to get into these and see what other varietals are really done well here. So
Yeah, and it's cool to see like similar winemaking style applied to these different grapes too. So what would you like to start with?
yeah, I brought 3 wines. They're all from one estate. The estate called Juliusspital. Julius von Echter was a bishop, basically, who created a hospital a long time ago, 1576.
Okay.
The estate became a foundation. It is still a foundation today. All the money still goes into a hospital.
Wow.
Today, so there's a huge hospital attached to the wine estate and so.
very respectful.
And it's a very big estate, but I would say everybody would count it also under the top 3-4 estates in the Franken region. Very high quality. And you have many varieties, but I brought a Silvaner,
Okay.
a Muller-Thurgau, and a Muskateller. So,
Cool.
and we're going to start with the Silvaner.
All right.
Crack it.
This one. They all look the same from the back. There we go. The last pick.
They've got the same label on the back.
So what? So Silvaner is not something you see a whole lot of. Has it been grown in Germany for a long time?
Yeah, you may like to hear it is the oldest white wine variety in Germany.
Awesome.
It is grown in 1659 or 57. Or it was introduced to the Franken region in that time, but it is considered the oldest white wine variety in Germany. So
Cool.
yeah. Yeah, the first wine is from 2010, so it's still very young.
Really, really bright. Just
Yeah,
jumping
the
out of the
aromatics
glass.
on these are great. And as you saw, like this is straight out of the bottle into the glass. This will open up even more.
Yeah.
They're just a little bit above cellar temp right now too. They're not really cold, and but they are less than room temp too. So. Yeah, I'm getting like all kinds of citrus, right? Like mandarin oranges, kind of some limes, a cool like yellow flower thing going on.
Yeah, say like a honeysuckle or something. There's
Oh, yeah,
definite
there
floral
is,
component
yeah.
going on in this. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I think when you only think about the bouquet, then you would expect maybe a fruitier wine because it has a very fruity bouquet,
Yeah.
But if you taste it, you will be surprised.
Yeah, I mean the flavors I think kind of follow through from the nose, but they're light, right?
Yeah.
They just kind of stay on the top, kind of ethereal in a way, a little bit, and it's just like kind of crisp and clean across the palate, but still gentle, I think.
Yeah.
The approach on this is very interesting. Like so subdued and soft in the way that it approaches. Like
Yeah. Do you get a lot of minerality in there?
Mm-hmm.
This area in the Franken region have a lot of limestone, basically.
Okay.
Where all 3 wines
That's
coming
delicious.
from, and so And the other thing is, when you go to that region, and you order a fish dish, there are some beautiful restaurants there. Any fish dish, they would say, and you ask them, what should I drink? 99% would recommend the Silvaner. Silvaner is a wine recommended with fish dishes. Yeah.
And I could see this
Like
with
easily
like
see it,
trout or like, or if you're around here, like some fresh halibut, that would be
Yeah.
really good, I think.
there's like a juiciness that's coming in on the back of my tongue. Like I don't. The acidity and the minerality sort of sit forward, but man, there's like something going on in the back of my cheeks. It's just really interesting the way this wine approaches and goes across the tongue.
And I love German wine for this, where you can be really dry, but still really delicate and clean. It's not like kind of punishing acidity. The alcohol's not, not even perceptible really. Like I can't even taste it. It's just like clean, enjoyable, right? You can drink glass after glass of this.
And so young, like soft and balanced, like just easy summer wine, like so refreshing.
Yeah, the wine have aging potential, but it's really a wine to drink while young, fresh and young, vibrant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
that's really good.
And what price point would this retail at?
Yeah, unfortunately, the price went up a little bit with that last shipment. This around $27 retail.
Okay,
reasonable, very
solid.
Good. Yeah, very reasonable.
Hits that price point, I think.
Easily.
Delicious stuff, and do you know? So I know Barnaby's doing some great Silvaner in the United States. Do you know anyone else in the United States?
I mean, I think that was the first Silvaner I tasted in Oregon. The one from Teutonic Wine Company.
Yeah.
I even didn't know this grape variety is grown here in Oregon, but he found a vineyard with some very old wines, and
wow.
Yeah, and the wine is delicious too. I mean, it's also dry and vibrant, and
Yeah, and this is just tasting this. I'm surprised. I'm surprised there isn't more of it, because not only is it delicious, I think it's really approachable. I think a lot of people who are a little shy about wine or whatever could really enjoy this too.
I mean, when you talk about the Franken region where this wine comes from, but it's basically east of Frankfurt, located on the Main River, people think about Silvaner. It is not the most planted variety there. Muller-Thurgau is still the highest percentage. But second most popular variety is Silvaner, and as I said before, it is the oldest variety, white wine variety in Germany, and definitely in the Franken region. So.
Cool. All right. Well, what would you like to do for number 2?
Muller-Thurgau.
All right. Do I remember what it is? I did. All right.
That's delicious.
And this is another one
really
that's
good.
We'll do a little rinse here. This is another one that is grown widely in Germany. Did you say this is the highest quantity?
That's the highest percentage of grown in that particular region. I mean, in Germany all over now, Riesling is the highest variety, But
okay.
Is that just due to its popularity?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
do Germans drink a lot of Riesling? What do Germans drink in Germany? Mostly Riesling, or do they drink stuff like this?
I mean, the German Riesling is definitely a very popular variety, and so. But it's very interesting, when people think about German wine, they think about white wine, but almost 38% of the German wine is red wine now.
Wow.
11.6% Pinot Noir. I mean, there's quite a bit of Pinot Noir produced.
Yeah,
it is. I think I've had one before, but it's been a while. So what are we drinking now?
Muller-Thurgau, and that comes basically from the
2010.
From one of the highest rated vineyards in the Franken region, in particular the highest rated vineyard in the town of Wurzburg, called the Stone Vineyard, Stein, Wurzburger Stein. Okay. And that is a Riesling Kabinett. The first wine was a basic qualities wine, and now we have a Kabinett, that means no chaptalization is allowed, and
And that kind of makes the mind spin to think that there are like tiers of quality above that too, right?
On the other hand, the Silvaner is not chapterless too, because you may have heard it before that 2010 was an extreme ripe vintage, extreme small production, high ripeness level, and high acidity. A very unique vintage in Germany.
Nice, exciting.
Yeah. Exciting. Did you have a lot of Muller-Thurgau before?
I've had a couple. I know Wine Country Farms, right? That little bed and breakfast at the top of Dundee Hills, grows some there. But a very small number, and and I'm definitely not very familiar with it as far as somebody asked me describe it to me, I'd have a hard time.
Yeah, in general you would say Muller-Thurgau is always a little bit more flowery in the bouquet, and when you smell it, I think it is definitely more flowery.
That makes sense. I'm thinking lilies, kind of not quite lilacs. It's not quite that pungent, but there's still a good nose to it, and it's got a really round feel to it too, I think.
There's something going on, it's sort of hitting a flavor sensor for me, but it's almost like an orange creamsicle, but it doesn't have the sort of sweetness, right? But it's got sort of a creaminess with the fruit. It's not oranges, it's more like a yellow citrus or something, but very just
super aromatic.
Yeah, very aromatic and just fun to smell. This is.
I'm really struck. It's really unusual for stuff straight out of the bottle like that to be popping out of the glass so much. This is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Muller-Thurgau have a lot of, flowery, aromatic, you get that. And I ask you if you had a lot of Muller-Thurgau, most of the Muller-Thurgau produced that you find in the market have a touch of sweetness. But this wine again is basically quite dry. You know? And that is the specialty about the Frankenwine. Not all. There's a little amount of dessert wine, but basically all the Frankenwines are fermented dry, all the regular.
Both of these wines are incredibly round in the mouth. Like the mouth feel on them is like so soft and just round and soft and round, delicious.
I'm getting like some like white cake flavors from this one, and it definitely dries out a little more on the back end than this did. Like
stronger
acidity kind of sits there. Like a little heavier, a little more like lemons than limes, I think.
Yep.
But man, again, just like really clean, enjoyable flavors that last for a long time.
Whereas this one was coming across, the Silvaner was coming across like sort of subtly, and the flavors were hitting the back of my tongue. This one is like more flavorful all the way across the tongue. It is more forward, a bit more fruity, and a bit more intense. I like that. I like more acidity and
a little bit of apple going on there, I think too.
Yeah, a little bit of that green apple thing going. Delicious. Wow.
Yeah, all the Frankenwines are really produced to serve as food. They are never overpowering in sweetness. They are all very good food wines.
I do appreciate that.
Also 2010, so still a very young wine. Also this wine here, this for earlier consumption.
Again, drinking so easy. Right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. I could see this like with like some salads too. I think it would go really well with greens. That acidity on the back end is just really, really nice.
The Muller-Thurgau is always a little bit softer in the acidity than Riesling, also softer in acidity than the Silvaner and so on. So that's for people who we don't want this very aggressive acidity. The Muller-Thurgau is a very nice wine. It's a little bit rounder,
And it seems like the versions that I've seen made in the United States are often like kind of targeted as table wine too, like often pretty easy drinking, straightforward, just like clean and enjoyable wines. And then these, so this is called Kabinett. Do they have like the full Prädikat scale for all of these wines?
Die do, die do some Spätlese and Auslese.
They do, okay.
But today you may have heard, that the Germans getting a little bit more focus on the terroir from individual vineyards, and so they call also the wine großes Gewächs, Grand Cru wines, Wow. So not so much based on the sugar level, but more on the individual terroir.
Sure.
And also wines are dry, but you have also Spätlese and Auslese.
Are you happy to see that change?
I like to see it, because sugar level, this is a Germanic rating of wine, what is based on the sugar level, but sugar is only one little part that makes a great wine. there's many other factors,
And it's sugar at harvest too, even, right?
Yeah, sugar at harvest time,
yeah,
exactly.
It can go a million different ways, and it's always interesting to hear, Ewald's opinions on it, because you grew up there, so you've seen kind of the evolution of the industry over a number of years, and how these different naming conventions come into play, and then how they play in the American market. Which, when you add something that's got 10 names to tell you what it is, it's hard to sell to people who don't speak the language of any of the words on the bottle. So he's had his work cut out for him for a long time.
Yeah, this label here is, this traditional, have all the information on a kind of a basic label, the producer, the village, the vineyard, the ripeness level, the grape variety, the region, so it's all there, but I think it is still very clean and,
Cool. Well, let's get into this wine. Okay, so the camera just died on us, and I had to go swap the batteries out. So this is a sloppy cut, but we'll just go back over what's this wine again?
Yeah, that's Muskateller. It's also a Riesling Kabinett. It's the same like the Muller-Thurgau before, but this one is from 2008 because 2009 and 10 no Muskateller was produced at the estate. You may know that 2009 as well as 2010 was a very small vintage in Germany, it was very small production, so I think it was not enough to produce this variety. So 2008, only a few bottles left in our warehouse. You know, you may find a few on the shelf here and there, but so.
Cool. And I'll put an email address for him down there. So if you're really excited about any of this stuff, right? And does this stuff go out throughout the United States, or is this another one of those like you're the only one bringing it into the country, or?
I think on the Juliusspital, I don't know there's another importer in the United States right now, so it's only available in the Northwest. You know,
cool.
So.
Yeah. So send Ewald here an email if this interests you. A good chance to try some really unique wines. Holy cow!
It smells so. It's like you took an orange, a fully ripe orange, just smashed the crap out of it on the
The
table.
whole thing, right? Yeah.
Right,
Maybe you're
yeah.
baking some cookies in the back,
Yep.
right? Like some snickerdoodle cookies or something.
Yeah, did you notice the Muller-Thurgau was fermented dry? It said trocken on the label, but this one here doesn't say anything. But you know, the wine is not sweet at all either. You
Right,
know,
no.
It's quite.
Man, the aromatics just for miles on this, right? The nose just goes on and on. It's big, rich. Oh, delicious.
The nose is exciting. Yeah, this is so bright and delicious.
Wow. You get like a zip right when it hits the palate. The acidity pops up, kind of keeps things bright all the way across. Oh my gosh. Flavor evolution.
And the
This is
interesting thing is when you think about Muskateller, you know, you think, oh, something a kind of a nice fruity wine, like
Wow.
a Gewürztraminer with some sweetness and so. But this one is a kind of a very serious dry wine, isn't it? You know, it's very
serious.
amazing. It's
No,
very amazing.
This is serious business. Like
No
Exactly,
question.
yeah.
this is really good.
This is totally on par with $50 or $60 bottles of you know, Austrian, like, it reminds me of Gruner a little bit, but of like high-end Gruner, high-end Riesling. Like this is right up there. Dries out, big, full flavors, and the flavors just like linger on the palate as it dries out. And there's evolution of flavor. Man.
Sometimes we talk about mid-palate length being very long. Like this sort of has that like massive length on the palate before the once you even swallow it, it's still like sitting there full on the palate. It's crazy.
But still very vibrant and fresh and
Totally.
Yes, yeah.
Basically, Grüner Berliner have the wine on the list, so that's the place to taste it.
Oh, the
Grüner
restaurant?
restaurant, yeah.
Nice. Well, their wine list is incredible.
Killing
yeah. And it's right, like you totally just ate that. Maybe put that smashed orange on one of the cookies.
You ate
Ate it down. I'm getting man a little bit of like white plum fruit in there. And it's like well over like 20 seconds. I'm still getting
some
flavors
white
in the palate.
pears, lots of oranges, some green apple. The acidity is like massive,
Oh, green apple's dead on.
but
yeah.
so balanced with like the amount of intensity that the fruit has, and yeah, wow.
A little bit of spice. Yeah, the complexity here
it's
is
a little-
fantastic.
Yeah, sort of overwhelming with the amount of intensity and flavor that's coming across. I mean, not like overdone or extracted. Like this is just really intense and delicious.
Want a bit more?
Yep.
Yep.
An incredible QPR at $30. Like I said, like hands down, this is competitive with a lot of $50, $60 wines that I've had.
Easily.
And interesting thing, you'll probably be amused by this. Chaz was talking lately, like more German wines in your collecting. He's right. Like I'm done with all this other stuff.
I'm done buying pretty much everything else right now. Like Oregon's sort of stressing on their vintages. Bordeaux, I spent too much money on Bordeaux for the amount of wine that I'm getting, and German Riesling is really where it's at this point. Like I can get really good German wine for $20 to $30, and we're talking like really good. Like every time I open a bottle, I get a smile on my face.
Yeah, I know.
German wine can do that to me. German Riesling, so
Still affordable, isn't it? Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, and another wine where you don't have to worry about when you drink it. It's like I could get to this now. I could get to this in 10 years.
Yeah.
No worries, right? It's gonna
Exactly.
be fresh, and it'll probably improve over that time.
Exactly, and that is the thing, I mean, even you always say, okay, the wine should be cool and no movement and, dark and so, but even if a Riesling bottle is staying under the light, for 4 or 5 years, standing up, the wine will not be tired after that. It can handle quite a bit of stress, so I have experienced it many times,
Nice.
Making it a great wine for those of you who are kind of new to the game, want to try and age some things that doesn't require the special care. And it's affordable, right? So it's a great way to get into it. And I'm just loving it. So you were talking earlier, like there's a great story behind the shape of the bottle. Obviously, this isn't what most wine bottles in the United States look like. So.
Yeah. I mean, you may have seen this little seal here. on the side, you know, on the bottle. And I mean, this estate, you know, produced wine since 1576, you know, and there's also at the estate, there's a kind of a painting and so, but shows the first bottle like that, you know, that's the first picture with this bottle. The bottle is called the Box Beutel, and it is exclusive for that particular region. You know, there's a little exception. There's another region in Germany, the Baden region. There's 2 villages who also can use this particular bottle, but basically this bottle, when you see it, it is Frankenwine, Franconian wine. So,
cool, and that's protected by the EU now too, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Large range. So
I've seen these bottles before and not known what they were, so I honestly, I sort of what is that?
Exactly.
And
I think it's something strange and
kind
of a gimmick thing, but it's really the traditional bottle in that area. Only that area have that bottle. All the wines you find the bottles are dry, you know. So it's a great high quality region basically. You know.
And that was cool too. You said that Franconia focuses really hard on making a lot of quality wine, right?
Exactly. Yeah. When you look at the comparison about Germany, you know how much regular table wine is produced in Germany, you know, percentage, and then in Franconia, very little basic wine is produced in Franconia, but a lot of high-end wine. So.
Yeah, so it's and it really shows through. Like this is pretty much entry-level stuff, and it's tasting
and some of
fantastic.
A brilliant lineup, amazing wines.
Yeah, I thought you would be excited about this.
No, thank you very much.
It's something you don't drink every day, but you know.
But if you want to.
And this has been a show I wanted to do pretty much since we started, because you know German Riesling got me into wine to begin with, and the great stuff that Ewald brings in has been, you know, hitting big points with me since day one. It's so accessible. He's doing great things, and thank you.
Yeah.
So really glad you're able to join us today and share some of these great wines with the audience. And this is something that we really love to do, right? It's not necessarily, you know, it's not Oregon stuff, but it's still something that if someone doesn't tell you about it, like you were just saying, like you're probably not going to pick up a bottle that looks like this blind off the shelf.
No, a little scared away from it. Just like you said, it's like, is it gimmicky? No, there's history behind this, and there's a reason this is this way, and you need to know about it.
And it's delicious.
Yeah, it's really good.
And a little comparison tasting between the Franken Silvaner and the Teutonic Silvaner would be a great thing, you know. So.
that would be fun.
It's the only Oregon Silvaner I ever have seen, so I mean that would be very cool.
Yeah, that'd be.
I like them both.
They're doing a great job with it. It's cool stuff. And so to wrap up, we always let the guest ask a question of the audience. Hopefully we'll get some answers that I can send on to you. So is there anything you'd like to ask people who watch the show?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
These are all so good. It's silly how good these are. These are really good wines. Thank you for bringing
No, you know what? We're going to forgo the question of the day today.
Okay, exactly.
We're gonna, but what I'm just
crying about wine.
I'm just gonna ask you a question, right? Because he's talking about moving back to Germany soon. What were some of your favorite wine realizations in Oregon? So you probably came to love Pinot Noir, but what were a couple of
I have to say, you know, I mean, coming to Oregon, you know, and with the Pinot Noir, I mean, you may remember in the beginning it was all about Riesling in Germany, in Oregon, you know.
That was way before. I didn't know that at all.
Exactly.
Did you know that?
When I came here,
I didn't know that.
Wow.
When I came here in 86, 87, you know, Riesling was a popular variety.
Awesome.
And then I moved to Pinot Gris and Pinot Noir. And I have to say, you know, I really love Oregon Pinot Noir. You know, I mean, I like Burgundy, you know, but I also love Oregon Pinot Noir. And also the German winemakers who come and visit me, you know, we're always joking about it, you know. You're always drinking a clear cut in my Pinot Noir cellar, you know. So, I mean, it's I mean, but also I have to say, you know, because I'm promoting a lot of Riesling, and there's so many estates now in Oregon who make again very great Riesling.
It's been growing, it's been coming up,
People taking more attention to it, you know, and very serious wines. And I mean, I have so many stories about great Oregon Riesling also. I mean, you know, it's, so I'm very excited, you know, what is going on here too. So.
And do you think
and we are too, as far as Riesling goes. It's really exciting to see as the years have progressed. that we've been into this.
Yeah.
That people are getting like more serious. You're seeing even like single vineyards come out, and certain producers. I mean, just like really, really serious Riesling.
Exactly, and that's one of my goals in the old days. When I moved back to Germany, then I can take a little bit of Oregon Riesling and introduce it to Germany, because I did it for 25 years, German Riesling to Oregon, what was very kind of a unique thing to do also, but now Oregon Riesling to Germany would be very kind of a nice little challenge.
And I think that there are some wines here that stand up on.
There are.
At their price point at the international market. I think some of them are totally there. So.
Yeah, and when you start to price the dollar against the euro,
especially when
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Some of that stuff's getting pretty affordable. All right, so we're gonna wrap up the show there. That was fantastic.
All right,
thank you so much, and we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Yep.